Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, Body Mind Healing. My name is Maria Sanchez. I am a holistic health consultant, a family nurse practitioner, a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner, and a doctor in nursing practice. Before mentioning today's case, I want to warn you that I will not use the common name for the religious institution below because the only objective of this channel is to accompany us in this process of learning, growth, and awakening of consciousness that we are going through, giving a little more focus to the mental and emotional aspects. Today's case is that religious institution in Rome has the largest gold reserve in the world. Its boss has so much money that he could end world poverty. All religions are sects that are only motivated by power and perversion. As long as religions and churches exist, poverty will never cease to exist because they are interested in people being uneducated so they can manipulate them. This should scare us. Although this topic is sensitive and complex, it is important to address it because we learn from everything. Everything on this plane serves a purpose, and this matter is no exception. There has always been questioning, discussions, and speculation about this subject. We have also become accustomed to complaining and accusing any system that does not go with our ideals. And if we are honest, we can see that we also practice some of these behaviors in our personal and social spheres, based on the fact that our external world is a mirror of our internal world. We see outside what we need to heal or what we need to accept and transcend within us. We talked about manipulation and injustice, but we also accuse without proof. We act based on stories we read or are told. We get carried away by intrigue, conspiracy theories, and hypotheses. We follow false information and repeat it until it becomes a belief. We do not realize its validity. We do not look deeply to verify what we claim. We do not investigate to find out where that information comes from or if it's simply the result of foolish minds disconnected from the reality in which we live. To begin with, the head of the religious institution in Rome is not the owner. He's only its current representative. To claim otherwise is as reckless as claiming that the president of a country is its owner. He also does not have the power to say that he will give the reserves of that institution to the indigent. Just like any other leader, he does not have all the power. We need to keep in mind that all human beings who are in this world and all those who have been here before us have wanted to come to live a human experience in a three-dimensional world. That is, a world that offers the experience of duality, where one can experience polarities. For example, positive, negative, wealth, poverty, illness, health, love, fear, good, evil, order, chaos, etc. So the scheme that we see and live daily is exactly how the human experience unfolds in these worlds. What happens is that when we come here, or when we are here, when we see life through the human eyes, everything seems scary, unfair, awful. But when we see the human experience from the spiritual world, that is, with the eyes of the soul, as was our state when we asked to come to this planet, everything seems beautiful, fascinating, challenging. We see each challenge or experience as an opportunity and not as something monstrous, cruel, or inhumane. Now, if planet Earth did not offer the 3D experience, then we will have to go to other world where it was offered. And in those worlds, we will also find hostile, tyrannical environments with very marked inequalities, such as the opulence of certain institutions versus the economic limitations of the vast majority of humanity. When we are in a state of antimatter, we know that coming to this world of challenges and atonements will catapult us towards mastery, towards a higher level of consciousness and at a faster rate, since living a 3D human experience on planet Earth is considered one of the most intense experiences that a being can go through. So with that fact alone, we should consider ourselves pretty brave. But there are no surprises here. No one goes through what they have not asked to go through, nor is anyone forced to, because that would be against the universal law of free will. Even though we do not remember it, we are the ones who chose the challenges we wanted to go through in this lifetime and eventually transcend them, and that is stipulated in our divine plan. Therefore, we never go through experiences that we did not ask, and for that very reason, everything we live has a purpose. Moreover, nothing that we see or live through in this world can happen without the Creator's authorization. So we can live with the absolute certainty that what we see is what it is. That the dark ones have taken control, that they are doing this and that and the other. Well, on one hand, that is just speculation because we do not remember our plan. On the other hand, how can anyone have more power than the one who created him or her? Here we help each other through our coexistence on a personal and global level. Some of us create the realities that others need to live, and vice versa. Throughout history, there have always been the bad guys, the abusive ones, the manipulators. There have always been those shadows that help us to find our light because that is their purpose. We are living a 3D experience which requires light and shadow. There must be a balance of energy, otherwise the planet would collapse. So those of us who are apparently poor in this lifetime, it is because we wanted to come here to experience poverty. And I say apparently because we are not poverty or homelessness. We are not even this body. And what we go through is just an experience. The same happens with those of us who die from certain diseases, or those of us who suffer accidents, or those of us who win the lottery, etc. If we live it, it is because we asked for it. By understanding this principle, we can also understand that our financial status, or the one of the entire world, was not imposed by the religious institution in Rome, by other religions, politicians, etc. We chose those challenges to learn, grow, evolve, expand our consciousness, and work towards our mastery. Unfortunately, our human nature, still unconscious, governed by the rational mind and the ego, drive us to live looking for the black spot on the white tablecloth, without daring to look within and discover that there are issues in us that are not right, that need attention and healing, such as fear, criticism, blame, judgment, envy, victimhood, etc. But we do not go there because that is a sensitive spot. It challenges us. We lose control. We feel that we lose control. It takes us out of our center and it makes us feel vulnerable. We prefer to distract ourselves with the outside world than to dare to go within and heal, which was what we came here for and which is the purpose of this life experience. We prefer to keep ourselves distracted with the external world and even victimize ourselves by the inequalities that our human mind interprets, and that is to justify not having time for ourselves. Our unconsciousness makes us frivolous. We argue issues as sinful, but the reality is that they are fundamental to our human experience. If poverty were to end in this world, those of us who came to experience it could not do so. And the same happens with all other processes we encounter in this journey. On the other hand, we blame these institutions as morally reprehensible, but we do not remember what we did in other lives. And perhaps our current condition, or that of the world, is a product of those lives, of the abuses and mistreatments that we committed, what we commonly call karmic payoffs, as stipulated by the universal law of cause and effect. And to make the case even more complex, we create our reality. Everything we perceive out there is a mirror of our inner world. So we need to observe if we are living in a scarcity of love, consideration, and compassion for ourselves and others. We also need to question ourselves about what we are doing to end worldwide poverty. We resist the processes we ask to live, but instead of resisting them, why don't we change that low frequency energy for a more harmonious one that allows us to go with the flow and minimize suffering? Resistance is the cause of all sufferings. We dislike to be questioned, and we immediately adopt a reactive and defensive attitude But then we feel we have the right to judge, criticize, and condemn others. We expect religious institutions to solve world poverty, but what are we doing about it? Are we going to sell our house, car, clothes, jewelry, and everything else that we have of value to contribute to eradicate poverty? We say that this situation should scare us, but the reality is that what that institution in Rome has or doesn't have is not scary. What is scary is our spiritual lethargy and how it consumes us every day that passes. What is scary is insisting on remaining asleep, on not increasing our vibrational field to remember who we are, on refusing to live from a space of acceptance, respect, and love, on failing to transcend duality. Complaining and pointing fingers will not do anything to increase our existential anguish and negatively impact our vibration. Working on becoming consciously aware is the only way that our personal and global reality will change. And that does not depend on that institution in Rome or any other. That only depends on each one of us, on our internal work, on our desire to evolve and transcend duality. In other words, that is an individual task, but with repercussions at a global level. My brothers and sisters, we are much more than what we perceive on this plane. We are light, we are love, divinities, fractals of the supreme consciousness. And when we open ourselves to remember this and vibrate in it again, the poverty we speak of will extinguish as well as all kinds of injustices, because our vibration will be so high that it will push the planet to ascend to a higher dimension where duality at such level does not exist. But as long as we keep our attention in the external world, avoiding coming into contact with our greatness, we will continue to be poor, suffering, and in complete duality. Ignorance, manipulation, and limitations have a solution. Let us not fester in these states to justify our fear of leaving our comfort zone, transcending polarity, and reconnecting with our true essence. Let us educate ourselves, learn, grow. Let us free ourselves from the shadows and raise our vibrational frequency. Let us become consciously aware to understand our divine plan and that of the earth. And let us contribute to the collective, the planet, and the universe by following our divine mission and purpose. May the inner peace that we cultivate today expand and guide us always. Until next time.